I have a question. I think a lot about the universal, infinite consciousness and or awareness, and I understand that it has no experience. If I understand the teachings, it's not something that it has no experience. And I'm wondering about the nomenclature of awareness and consciousness of the thing has no experience. If it has no experience.
When it looks at itself, in the knowing of itself, there is no objective content or knowledge or experience there. Because for there to be objective experience, one has to stand apart from that object as a separate subject. And
yes.
Consciousness cannot stand apart from itself. So when it, so to speak, looks, in fact, it cannot even look at itself. Because you can only look at something that is at a distance from yourself. So when it knows itself, which it does just by being itself, there's no knowledge there. There's nothing objective there.
Understand?
But it knows itself just by being itself.
But how do I think of it as universal awareness if it's not aware?
It is aware, but it's not aware of anything. It's not aware of itself as a thing. It is aware. It's pure aware being.
But doesn't that imply that I'm struggling with just exactly what is it aware of? It's not aware of me or you or us?
No, in its awareness of itself, it's just aware of itself by being itself, like the sun illuminates itself just by being itself. It's not aware of itself as an object. It's not aware of itself in subject-object relationship. Because in subject-object relationship, the subject and the object must stand apart from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it can't stand apart from itself. So it can't know itself objectively. It has no objective knowledge of itself. Its knowing of itself is just the knowing of being.
So it's aware of itself the same way I'm aware of myself.
It's not aware of itself the same way that you are aware of yourself. Its awareness of itself is your awareness of yourself. It's not that there is universal consciousness's awareness of itself and your knowledge of yourself. But the only consciousness there is universal or infinite consciousness. So your knowledge of yourself is not your knowledge as a person, of yourself as a person. The knowing of your own being is consciousness's knowledge of itself in you or as you. John Smith's knowing of himself, there's not John Smith's knowledge of himself and King Lear's knowledge of himself. King Lear's knowledge of himself is John Smith's knowledge of himself. Your knowledge of yourself is infinite consciousness's knowledge of itself. It's very easy to check that, Arthur. Tell us about yourself now. I know I've asked other people about this, but imagine you've never heard this question before. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Don't refer back to your memory. Tell us about yourself. You're a newborn infant. You have no past experience to refer to, but you are experiencing yourself. Tell us about it.
I am. I am what I am.
Tell us
I am
more.
what I am, and always was, and always will be.
No, don't talk about was and will be without reference to thought. You know nothing of was and will be. Tell us about yourself now.
I could produce a long list of what I think I am, but...
No, I don't want to know what you think you are. I want to know what you are.
I am.
You don't need to think about yourself. If I want to ask you, what did you have for breakfast? You need to think about it, because the experience of breakfast is not present now. So you do have to refer to your memory. You do have to think about it. But yourself, whatever yourself is present now. So you don't have to think about it, and you don't have to refer to your memory. You can go to the experience of yourself now. I don't want to know what you think about yourself. I don't want to know what you feel about yourself. I don't want to know what you remember about yourself. I want to know your present experience of yourself. And don't tell us about your thoughts, your feelings, your memories, your sensations, your perceptions, your actions, your relationships. Tell us about yourself.
Being.
Perfect. Keep going.
I don't know where to go beyond being and I am without getting.
Well, the fact that you say yourself is being implies that you know the experience of being. Otherwise, you wouldn't say being is yourself. Yeah. So it's not just being; it's knowing as well. It's not just being; it's also awareness. Otherwise, if you weren't aware, you wouldn't know I am or being. So you must be aware as well as being. Yeah. So you're being and awareness, or aware being.
Yes.
Tell us more. And you are having the experience of yourself, yes? Mm-hmm. Nobody else is having the experience of it. So it is you, aware being, that is aware of yourself. It is you, awareness, that says, I am. You awareness, know yourself. And as a result, you say, I, awareness, am. Yeah? Tell us more.
I'm aware that I am.
Perfect.
I'm aware of being, I'm aware that I am.
Perfect. Tell us more.
That's all there is.
That's perfect. That's all there is. You haven't mentioned anything about any limitations to that experience. You recognize I, awareness, know myself, or I, awareness, am myself. When I press you, you keep repeating it in different ways, which is very good. I gave you ample opportunity to say that the aware being that you are is in some ways limited, but you didn't. Why not? Because your experience of yourself is not limited. I'm trying to show you that your awareness of yourself, awareness is awareness of itself, is infinite awareness's awareness of itself. And that's your experience.
I get it. Thank you. I've heard you talk about infinite awareness as being peace, joy, and happiness. But your feelings and experiences.
So did you say those are feelings and experiences?
Yeah.
Not in the way I use the words. That they are. That's like saying, imagine an overcast sky. And then the clouds begin to part, so it's all grey clouds. And the clouds begin to part, and a little patch of blue sky opens up. And then another patch of blue sky opens up over there. And another patch of blue sky opens up over there. And that's like saying there are 3 blue clouds in the sky. Considering joy, peace, and happiness as experiences, that's equivalent of saying there are 3 blue clouds in the grey sky. They're not blue clouds, they're gaps in the clouds where the background of the blue sky shines through. They seem, with reference to the clouds, with reference to the grey clouds, they seem to be blue clouds. So there seem to be grey clouds and blue clouds. But it's not like that. There are grey clouds and the blue sky. So peace, joy, and happiness are the 3 blue clouds, which are not blue clouds. They're gaps in the cloud cover of thoughts and feelings through which the blue sky of happiness shines.
So where that question really comes from, I'm thinking of myself. I'm thinking of the demise of this body and the spark of consciousness or awareness melding with the infinite consciousness and awareness.
There isn't going to be a spark of consciousness melding with the infinite consciousness. But we've just done the experiment. The consciousness in you is not a little spark of infinite consciousness. It is just infinite consciousness.
It's all of it.
the space in this room is not just a little spark of the universal space that will reunite with it when this building is demolished. The space in this room is the universal space. Your consciousness is the only consciousness there is, the universal consciousness. It's not going to go anywhere when you die. The space of this room is not going to go anywhere when this building is taken down.
In this current manifestation, I'm capable of feeling joy and peace and love.
Yes.
And I'm wanting to think that when the constraints of humanness disappears, is there peace and love?
Will no longer be felt as peace and joy and love, because those are the names we give infinite consciousness with reference to our human experience. Infinite consciousness will be relieved of the labels peace, joy and love when you die, because there'll no longer be any human experience of suffering or conflict with which to contrast them.
I've got a question about the dissolving of the inside and the outside. Also going back to the analogy of Jane and Mary, that sort of evokes in me that a feeling of being in infinite being as an infinite being. So there the outside and the inside become one. Or being in God as God, only God. And as infinite being viewed through sense perception becomes the universe. So the universe is infinite being and I am infinite being.
Yes.
So in that way the outside and the inside become one.
It's not that the outside and the inside become one. It's that they were never two in the first place. It's just perception that seems to make it's perception that draws a line between the two. The thoughts and perceptions that divide or seem to divide the unity of being into, first of all, a subject and an object, and then the object then appears as 10,000 things. That's the way it just seems when we view reality through sense perception. So sense perception fragments reality and makes it appear outside of ourselves and makes it appear as to 10,000 things outside of ourselves. And the appearance of separation and otherness doesn't change. If the Buddha was sitting next to you, his experience would still appear to him in subject-object relationship. It's the ignorance that goes, not the illusion that goes. The illusion remains, the ignorance goes. The ignorance, in this case, that's just a technical term for the ignoring or overlooking of reality.
And we overlook reality because of our perception.
Yes, perception persuades us that reality is divided into an inside and outside, and that the outside is then further divided into 10,000 things. It's perceiving and conceiving, perceiving and thinking that persuade us that. Or just like our sense perceptions once persuaded us that the earth was flat. Sense perception once persuaded us that the sun went round the earth. And we realized that in spite of the appearances, reality wasn't really like that. Well, sense perception now persuades us that we are an inside self made of mind, and the world is outside mind or consciousness and is made of matter. That's just the way things appear when we look at the world through sense perception.
Okay.
But sense perception just misleads us. This life's dim windows of the soul distorts the heavens from pole to pole. The dim windows, the eyes, perception, distorts reality. Why are they dim windows? They're dim windows because they're not like clear windows through which we see reality as it is. They're dim windows. They're clouded. They're limited. And as we look through this limited filter, it distorts, it makes reality appear in a way that is not how it actually is. It distorts reality. Mm-hmm. Every bird that cuts the airway is an immense world of delight, enclosed by the five senses, so that the senses are like a reducing valve.
Yeah.
If the senses weren't there, if we experienced reality as it is, it would be like putting 10,000 volts through a light bulb. It would just blow the light bulb to smithereens. If the infinite were to, if the infinite were to enter the finite mind directly, unfiltered by the sense perceptions, that the finite mind would just be annihilated. It would not be able to stand it. So that the sense perception reduces reality and makes it appear in a way that is manageable for the finite mind. Encloses the immense world of joy and makes it appear as a little bird. What it really is infinite spirit or infinite consciousness. But if the infinite were to come directly into the finite would just be annihilated. So the senses reduce it and just make it appear as a bird, as an object.
Okay.
I loved that meditation this morning when you talked about the hairline crack, which I think relates a little bit to what you just said, the hairline crack between looking at the thoughts and emotions and the sense perceptions, somewhere in the middle.
Yes, exactly. There is one part of our experience which is actually even narrower than a hairline crack. It has no dimension or duration. There's one experience that is not mediated either through perception or through thought. That one experience is the pure awareness of being. The awareness of being has no dimension or duration. It's even less than hairline crack. But if we're going to speak about it in worldly terms, the best we can say it is a hairline crack or a point of no dimension. It's a blind spot. It's not in the time and space that the thought and perception present. It is thought and perception that makes reality appear in time and space. Time relates directly to thought, space directly to perception. But in between thought and perception, or unmediated through thought and perception, there is this timeless, spaceless, dimensionless, durationless experience. What is that? Pure awareness of being. That beautiful poem of E. Cummings, love is a place, and in this place of love move with brightness of peace all places. Yes is a world, and in this world of yes lives skillfully curled all worlds. This sense that in this dimensionless, durationless, pure awareness of being, everything lives skillfully curled. It lies in potential and is ready to be expanded as the universe.